Okay, now that I've gathered myself after the main event, I need to talk about the co-main event. Paulo Costa versus Luke Rockhold went the distance, and the main event ended in a very crazy fashion. However, the co-main event was absolutely ridiculous and unbelievable, and I don't know what way I mean those words about this co-main event. It went the distance. 30-27 Paulo Costa. There's an argument to give Luke Rockhold the second round, but Paulo Costa won the fight. No doubt about that. It was quite competitive in those second and third rounds. However, Costa gets it done. He wins over Luke Rockhold, but Luke Rockhold may have lost in the best way he possibly could. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. A true samurai. He finally lived up to his expectations of himself and his own toughness. He said in the build-up, I'm never going to quit against a guy like Paulo Costa. And he showed us that. But I'm going to chuck this out there at the start of this video and then get back to praising Luke Rockhold and talking about some of the situations that went down. He also showed us, in my opinion, how bad the UFC middleweight division is. That looked like, in my opinion, an unranked heavyweight fight at the bottom level, at Cage Warriors maybe. I mean, this was absolutely ridiculous. I know that there's altitude, but I'm going to give praise first, and we're going to get back to this other take, because I know a lot of MMA fans were thinking what I'm thinking as well. But let's talk about the fight itself. So, Paulo Costa wins the fight. Good job. Luke Rockhold loses the fight, but he wins it he sort of wins in the end because he has a retirement speech. Everyone loves Luke Rockhold again. He gets points from the fans. He has a funny moment in his retirement speech where he says something like, I'm old, and everyone starts laughing. So it's a good moment from Luke Rockhold. His personality shines through. He's finally a little bit funny and has a good moment where he makes everyone laugh. But in the fight, Luke Rockhold, and I'm saying this in the way that in the most perfect way, he channeled Patrick Bateman. He went full-on American Psycho in this matchup. And it's not in a good way of, wow, he did that so well and impressive. There were moments of impressiveness. But there were moments where he was rubbing his face of blood in Paulo Costa's at the end of the third round. He was literally with his hands on his knees in front of Paulo Costa, in elbow range of Paulo Costa. And Costa was just standing there staring at him, doing nothing about it. Luke Rockhold, hands on his knees, leaning forward, breathing so heavily after that first round. And in the first round, he barely did anything. So this was shocking to me how fast both of these guys gassed out. It must have been the altitude. It was the case with a lot of fights on the card. They ended up being very sloppy. But, man, crazy fight. The first round, Paulo Costa lands a couple of shots on Luke Rockhold. Rockhold shoots a takedown. Almost has it, but Paulo Costa sprawls the takedown, lands a couple of punches, hurts Rockhold badly, ends up on top, keeps landing some shots on Luke Rockhold. Eventually, Rockhold gets back up, and then all of a sudden, we're throwing shots against the cage again. Luke Rockhold lands a good check hook, a good body kick. Paulo Costa's landing good combinations again against Luke Rockhold, starts ripping to the body, and now he's landing some, good shots on Luke Rockhold. He shoots a single leg, takes down Luke Rockhold beautifully with amazing strength, ends up in half guard on top, starts landing some good shots. DC starts waffling on commentary about how this is good for Luke Rockhold. He wants this, as Paulo Costa's raining down shots on Paulo Costa in the first round. Body shots, head shots, body shots, elbows to the body. I mean, maybe this is the reason why Luke Rockhold was so gassed out, but it wasn't like it was a crazy paced first round. They were laying on each other for quite a bit, just laying there. You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy. Very crazy to me. Big shots from Paulo Costa in the first round. He clearly won round 1 10-9, but that's okay. Luke Rockhold was ready for the second round, completely gassed out at the end of the first. Paulo Costa looked quite tired as well. And then round 2 comes around, and both of these men enter an underwater realm, and they begin to fight underwater, is the only way I can describe this. And this fight made me feel Whittaker is so much better than the rest of the division. And Adesanya is just that next level behind, but also so much better than the rest of the division. Whittaker, Adesanya, everyone else at middleweight. Whittaker's going to beat Vettori. Vettori made Paulo Costa look good. Rockhold looked so sloppy in this fight. He had moments of excellence, like he threw a tornado kick, 360 tornado kick to the body that landed on Paulo Costa. He was throwing body kicks over and over again at one point and having good moments there as well. I mean, he was ripping with some good check hooks and stuff like that, and he was even saying, fuck you, and then landing a big punch on Paulo Costa at one point in round 3, whilst exhausted, and Paulo Costa would just stand there like, is he gonna just make me jacket, don't know, boing, and then just getting hit with massive shots, standing there still in front of Luke Rockhold, not doing anything, just standing there looking at him when he could have been finishing him. Craziness, this fight. I wanted to be impressed. And it was a great fight to watch. It was crazy to watch live. But watching it back, I'm disgusted almost. And I want to be really on a positive note here. I'm so happy about what Edwards did to Kamaru Usman, that cheating scum. But this co-main event, like, middleweight is so bad. Middleweight is so unbelievably bad. This is the guy that Adesanya gets legacy from in Paulo Costa. I thought he was going to walk through Luke Rockhold, and it's not because he didn't walk through him that I'm now angry and saying that the division's bad. They were so tired. They were so sloppy. They were so bad at technique. Rockhold would have some moments, but I'm mainly talking about Paulo Costa here. Rockhold looked good for how exhausted he was, but Paulo Costa was missing so much and timid to exchange, and he just looked bad in the fight. He would land some good shots, and it just looked so sloppy. And this is like a more extreme version of Nate Landwehr versus David Onama, because at least they look good because they're lightweights, so they look okay in comparison, but still sloppy. But man, I don't know how to feel about this fight. On the one hand, I love the entertainment value. On the other hand, I like the fact that Rockhold got to show his true fighting spirit and had a bunch of badass moments that are going to live forever in UFC history, and had a perfect retirement outside of what could have been a win, I guess. But on a loss, this is the perfect way to retire, let's be real. But man, absolutely craziness. On another foot, I guess now we're down to feet because I've used both hands. I hate how bad this was skill-wise. Terrible fight between the pair of them. They looked awful, and then they gassed out completely after one round of fighting. You train for this for so long, one round is what you got, and not one round until you're breathing a bit heavy and starting to slow down a bit. One round until you're bending over with your knees on your hands on your knees, hunched over, just there in front of Paulo Costa, and then Paulo Costa does nothing about it. It seemed so weird to me, this fight. I need to rewatch it and really digest it. There were moments of greatness, like, oh, Rockhold lands a great right hand. Rockhold says F you and lands a great right hand. Rockhold with a spinning tornado kick to the body. Rockhold with body kicks. Paulo Costa with body kicks. Paulo Costa with shots to the body. Paulo Costa lands a big shot. But man, I don't know how to feel about this, man. It really took me off guard at how low level they were. And the first thing I thought about after this was, yeah, it was a great fight, but Paulo Costa's number 6 or 5 in the world. And he's got a guy in front of him begging to be defeated and begging to be finished, and he can't find it. Number 5 in the world? I mean, a true representation of the middleweight division outside of Adesanya and Whittaker, I guess, but man, it was really an eye-opener. He's number 5 in the world. Credit to Luke Rockhold. He wasn't supposed to even have a chance. But man, that really shocked me. Let's talk about some other moments in the fight, though, because there were a lot of crazy moments. Luke Rockhold with the FU and landing the shot. He kept talking to Costa when they were on the ground, and Costa was doing good on the ground. He even took the back of Luke in the second, but Luke sort of turned out of it and stuff like that. Or he took the back of Luke in the third. He was on top of Luke in the second round, and Rockhold was saying stuff in his ear like, F you, man, I hate you, and all this type of stuff. Trying to get under his skin and get him emotional and trying to get him to go for something that he shouldn't have gone for and leave himself invulnerable. Costa tried to get the finish in round 3 with the back take and the submission. I think a lot of people underestimated Costa's Costa tried to get submission in the third, sorry. I think a lot of people underestimated the fact that Costa's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so he knows what he's doing on the ground a little bit in those scrambles. More than just being a jacked guy that's a striker that's lost on the ground. He actually started doing the ground game first, because he's from Brazil. I think it's just how it works over there, but either way. Messy. Rockhold rubbing his face with the blood in the third round was crazy as well. Some of the moments in the third were crazy in general. But I think, honestly, if Rockhold had better body language, like, it could have been a different looking fight. Like, he was just so beaten by Costa. He was wincing. He was covering up. Running away at certain moments. Hands on his knees. And I know he's like a legend and he's taking shots and he's a warrior and he's showing his toughness. But, man, to be doing that at the start of the second round where you haven't really taken too many massive shots yet. Like, it really did show his age, Luke Rockhold. But it also showed me that maybe Paulo Costa ain't ready, man. Maybe he should sort of sign with PFL after this, because he's got his contract over and he's talking about maybe exploring the free market. They're going to offer him the winner of Whittaker versus Vettori. And I strongly believe in a free rounder, definitely, that's going to be Whittaker, like 90% chance. If Whittaker gets given Paulo Costa, they don't slow down like that. Like, I don't know what happened in that. That was just crazy to me. Maybe Paulo Costa was grappling and he's not used to it, and it was like a Shane Burgos type thing where Burgos tried to grapple with Jourdain and he wasn't used to it and he completely gassed out in that fight. But I've never seen that before. That was an actual crazy fight. Rockhold was rocking Paulo Costa in certain moments and wobbling him. But the main difference in this fight was the reason why Costa won and Rockhold lost was because of the way that they were reacting to the shots they were taking. Rockhold would get hit and wince and run against the cage and curl over and put his hands on his knees. And then Costa would get hit and go, yeah, he would rip a sign off the wall whenever he got hit by Luke Rockhold. That sign never stays up nowadays. I don't know what's wrong with it. But yeah, Paulo Costa would get hit and rip signs off the wall and stuff like that and ruin the MMA Guru's video at the end of it every single time on cue. And it was crazy. It really was. I had no idea that it was going to end up looking like that. I thought it was going to be a clean finish for Paulo Costa. After the first round, I thought it wasn't looking good for Luke Rockhold. But respect to Paulo Costa, and maybe it was the body kicks that they both were landing, the body shots they both were landing. We normally don't see that many of them in fights like that. And Rockhold landed a bunch of body kicks, and Costa landed a bunch of body kicks on each other. And maybe maybe they both broke ribs, and I'm going to find that out now, and that's going to be explained to me. But man, I'm just shocked by watching that fight. That is a top level, elite level MMA fight. It looked like an absolute pub fight between two men, like drunk as well. Now Costa might have been. That's normally his thing, but craziness to me. Moments of excellence between a circus of pandemonium is how that fight went. But Rockhold retires in great looks as well because he had a great time. He had a great fight as well, so he's going to get a lot of respect from the fans after that one for all the cool moments he had in that fight. And Paulo Costa gets a win. Good for the UFC. Give him the winner of Whittaker versus Vettori. And Whittaker's going to keep winning, man, because he's so much better than these other middleweights. He's so much better than these other middleweights, man. If I was Darren Till, I'd call out Paulo Costa. Honestly. Like, because these guys ain't ready, man. Like, there's a little... Well, maybe not Darren Till. They're ready for Darren Till, maybe. But Whittaker's different. I think Whittaker's leveled up since that Darren Till fight. Darren Till hasn't been active. He's been injured, so I doubt he's done much leveling up. He's probably sort of maintaining himself at this point. But Whittaker is going to meet Adesanya again, 100%. Or Pereira. We'll see how that fight goes. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle Pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.